Powers of 10 and exponents. Unlock the problem. Expressions with repeated factors such as 10 times 10 times 10 can be written by using a base of an exponent. The base is the number that is used as a repeated factor. The exponent is the number that tells how many times the base is used as a factor. Once again, if you want these examples, you can find them in your math homework folder, right? Okay, and then you can look for base or exponent. And then in word form, you would say the third power of 10, and exponent form, you would say 10 with a little 3. Okay, so what is 10 times 1,000 written with an exponent? So how many ones are in 1? So how many ones are in 1? 1, right? How many ones are in 10? 10. How many tens are in 100? 10. How many hundreds are in 1,000? 10. How many thousands are in 10,000? 10. 10. And then it says, in the box at the right, draw a quick picture to show 10,000. So it says to use just a box with a T in it to show thousands because instead of drawing those cubes, right? It's easy to draw a little cube, a long, or a flat, but to actually draw the cube takes a little longer. So they're saying just to represent it with a box and a T. So how many boxes and T's would I draw? 10, right? Okay, so 10 times 1,000 is what? Well, it's 10,000, but we want our little numerator, or little exponent, okay? So, how many zeros do you see there? 4. 4. So, it would be 10 to the 4th power, okay? And then, so over here, that would be the same thing, 10 to the 4th power. Example, multiply a whole number by a power of 10. Hummingbirds beat their wings very fast. The smaller the hummingbird is, the faster the wings beat. The average hummingbird beats its wings about 3 times 10 to the 3rd power times a minute. How many times a minute is that written as a whole number? So first of all, we need to multiply 3 by powers of 10. So we're going to look for a pattern. So anything to the 0 pattern is automatically 1. Okay, 10 to the 1st power is 10. 10 to the 2nd power is, what's 10 times 10? 100. And then 10 to the 3rd is 1,000, because you have a 1 without any zeros behind it. So that means 10 to the 0 power, do you have any zeros behind it? No. No, so it's just a 1, like we said. So 3 times 1 is? 3. 3. 3 times 10 is? 30. 3 times 10 times 10 is 300, because we have 3 with 2 zeros, right? Then 3 times 10 times 10 times 10 is, we put 3 with how many zeros behind it? 3. So then that makes it 3,000. So the average hummingbird beats its wings about 3,000 times a minute. What pattern do you see? For each power of 10, the number of zeros written after the whole number is the same as the number in the exponent position. So like we set up here on the top, basically if it says 3 times 10 to the 1, that means you're going to have 3 with 1 0 behind it, right? 3 times 10 to the 2nd power would mean you'd have 3 with how many zeros written behind it? 2, right? Yeah. All right, so share and show, write in exponent form and word form. So they have 10 times 10. So what would we write that in as the exponent form? We for sure have 10, right? Okay, so we put 10, and then how many zeros do you see? 2. So now we have it in exponent form. How would we see that in word form? We would say 10 to the second power, or we could say the second power of 10. Okay, the next one we have 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So exponent form, how would we write that? We would for sure have 10, and then how many times do we see that, or how many zeros do we see? 4. 4. So how would I write that in word form?
The fourth power of 10.
The fourth power of 10. Okay, so number 3, find the value. So they give us 10 to the second power, or the second power of 10. So now I have to revert it back to kind of what they did in 1 and 2 and find the answer. So this time I'm going to write 10 how many times? Twice. So I'm going to write 10 times 10. And what is 10 times 10?
100.
100. They didn't give us another value in there, right? Okay. Now this one, we have 4 times, and then how many times do I need to write 10?
2 times.
2 times, right? So 4 times 10 times 10. Now, 4 times 10 times 10, what is 10 times 10?
100.
100. So I could write 4 times 100 equals 400. You need to show your steps. Okay? All right, number 5. We would have 7 times, and how many times do I need to write 10?
3.
3. 1, 2, 3. Now, I should automatically know that 10 to the third power is what? 1,000. Is 1,000. So I'm going to write 7 times 1,000 equals 7,000. Okay, so here in a little bit, you guys are going to do on your own 6 through 14 with your partners, and then we'll go over and check it. Right now, let's go on to 15. So, write math. Explain how to write 50,000 using exponents. So, what would we do? First of all, we would have to say what? We need to pull it out to have our exponent be only 10, right? So, what are we going to have to pull out of there to help us begin with first? Right.
4 is 5.
5. So we would have, we would take 5 times, and then exponents, we use what number? 10, right? And then what exponent are we going to have there? 4, because we have how many zeros? 4. We take 5 times 10 to the 4th because we have 4 zeros. So our exponent would be to the 4th power. Unlock the problem. Lake Superior is the largest of the Great Lakes. It covers a surface area of about 30,000 square miles. How can you show the estimated area of Lake Superior as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10? So what do we need to underline for our information?
3,000 square miles.
30,000 square miles, right? And then how can you show the estimated area of Lake Superior as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10? So what are we asked to find?
How can you show the estimated area of Lake Superior as a whole number multiplied
Okay.
by a power of 10?
So to show the estimated area of Lake Superior multiplied by a power of 10. Okay, so how can you use a pattern to find the answer? So how can we use a pattern? So what were you guys using before to figure out the power of 10? You were figuring out how many zeros there were, and then of course if it has a whole number you have to multiply it by that too, right? So we would look at how many zeros there are to find the power of 10. Write a pattern using the whole number 3 in powers of 10. So they said 3 to the times 10 to the 0 power would be 3 times 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 10 to the first power would be 3 times 10. So that would be 30. 3 times 10 to the second power would be 3 times 10 times 10, which equals 300. 3 times 10 to the third power would be 3 times 10 times 10 times 10, which equals, and then 3 times 10 to the fourth power would be
3 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10,
which equals 30,000. So our answer would be 3 times 10 to the fourth power, which is letter C. Number 17, the Earth's diameter through the equator is about 8,000 miles. What is the Earth's estimated diameter written as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10? So Earth's diameter, about 8,000 miles, and then they want to know written as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10, right? So you know automatically you're going to have what? 8 times 10. So that fits all of those, right? But what's going to be our exponential or our exponent?
How many zeros?
How many zeros there are and how many zeros are there?
3.
3. So we would do 8 times 10 to the third mile.
Let's see once again.
Number 18. The Earth's circumference around the equator is about 25 times 10 to the third miles. What is the Earth's estimated circumference written as a whole number? So Earth's circumference is what we highlight, and then 25 times 10 to the third mile. And then they want to know circumference written as a whole number. So basically, we would write 25 times, and then we could write 10 times 10 times 10, right? But you guys are so smart that you already know that that is what? What's 10 to the third power?
1,000.
1,000, right? Because it's a 1 with 3 zeros behind it, correct? So 25 times 1,000 is 25,000. So letter B.